Well, just another idiot sitting in front of his computer doing another live stream. Welcome back to me rambling for an hour about various topics. Now, I got a couple of things to get into tonight. Some revolutionizing levels of human stupidity. But before that, I'm just going to take some time, chill, do whatever, and talk about how the day went. Because I actually had the day off this week, and because of last week working over the weekend doing overtime was the whole reason I changed my schedule. I realized 3 o'clock wasn't going to be a very feasible time for me. So here I am doing it later at night now. I'm doing it at 7 Central. And I don't know, I kind of like it. I feel like this is a better time slot for me. But today I decided I was going to take a trip and enjoy my hobbies a bit. So I went to some comic book shops and some like merch store shops today and just checked some stuff out and spent more money than I probably should have. And then I had to come home and reorganize my entire bookshelf because I just didn't have the space for all of this. I still don't. There's still a ton of books laying over here on the couch that I just don't have space for. It's an unfortunate reality, realize that you have too much stuff. 5 pounds of crap in a 1 gallon, or sorry, it's like 10 gallons of crap in a 1 gallon bucket. That's what this is right now. But I was able to fit all of the stuff that I have read onto the shelves, which just leaves me with all the stuff that I haven't read, which is a lot. I'm in a bad habit of buying more and more reading material when I already have plenty of reading material to go. I have almost a whole box set of Claymore manga to go through. I'm on volume 6 of 27. I have a couple of other series on there that I still need to get into, like Fist of the North Star that I picked up. I have a couple of Star Wars books I need to read. I have a bunch of comics I need to read through. Picked up more Blame manga. Well, I picked up a Blame manga, the Electro Fisher's Escape. Blame's sick, by the way. I love that series. It's awesome. Maybe I should do a more positive stream instead of just highlighting some random like stupidity and all of that. Oh well. Get some people to join in. Maybe talk like take an entire stream to just go in and dissect an entire anime, and we'll have to see how that would go. I'd like to do Bleach. I'd like to do One Piece. A lot of the big ones. Dragon Ball. I think it would be great. It would be wild. It would be fun. Hella entertaining. Way of Kings, Blade for Hire, Strange Adventures of a Broke Mercenary, ReZero Volume 22, Achromatic Chronicles, The Last Ronin, Path of Destruction. I have so much to catch up on when it comes to reading. And honestly, I have had a lot. Oh, ignore the crinkling. I also got this while I was out. I didn't even know that Doctor Who had comic books. Let me hold it away from the light here. That's better. I didn't know Doctor Who had comic books. Makes me miss the days when I first got into Doctor Who. Such a great series. At least up until like the Capaldi era. The 13th Doctor, I think it was. No, that was the chick. Oh well. Guess I need to go rewatch Doctor Who. So yeah, I got to go out today and enjoy my hobbies. It was a good day. A very good day. Then I came home and I reorganized some stuff. I had Culver's for lunch. Amazing day, amazing day. Loved it. Except for the amount of money I spent. Don't want to talk about that one. It has been a rough week, honestly. It's been rough. Kind of a shit week. That's why I want to focus a little bit on the positivity right now. I spent a decent portion of my week moving things up a massive hill. And it wasn't fun. It was nasty. It was all wet, rotted, slimy wood that I had to haul up a hill to a dump trailer. All the while, all of the spiders that were hiding underneath the deck that we were pulling the stuff off of were crawling all over me. So I have a couple of spider bites on me now. Fun. But I got to go play cards with friends yesterday. I was out late last night playing Magic the Gathering. I got to go check out a couple of comic shops, check out a merch store, and I got myself a Puchita plush. And a couple of figurines, too. So, I mean, I have... Hold on. I'll be right back. So yeah, the first one that came in this week was the full Berserker Armor Guts figurine that I got months ago. I pre-ordered this thing. And it finally came in, and I am happy with it. I love this thing. Oh, that's one I should do. Just take a full stream to like really get into the weeds on Berserk. Such a good fucking series. I also have a Kakashi, a Zoro, and a Gon to go with that. At the comic shop, I picked up a Batman figure because Batman has been missing from my collection. So now I have a little, well, not missing, but I only had this little thing to represent one of my favorite characters of all time. And now I have a piece from the Batman, the animated series, to go with it. Oops. Making a lot of noise today. Oh, and I picked up Chainsaw Man Volume 12. That's one that that's one that I really liked. But on top of that, there's a couple of trailers out too that have caught my attention. A little bit more positivity to heap on to the beginning of this stream before I start talking about the things that before I start talking about the crazy stuff. And I guess first of those, hold on. Oops. would be this guy right here. So if you are unfamiliar with this series, The Unwanted Undead Adventurer is a Japanese light novel series, and I think it's even got some manga going. And the premise is that a guy who's just an average, adventurer exploring some dungeons and stuff, making a living by looting ancient structures. He gets killed in the dungeon, but not entirely. He finds himself returned to the world of the living as an undead. And I found out not too long ago that it was going to get an anime, and well, I'm kind of intrigued because, well, there's some good, there's some bad about this one, and I guess I will bring that up after we go through the trailer here. Series with over 2 million copies in circulation. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not One Piece. Receives an anime adaptation. Okay. Gotta pause because we fear the Japanese copyright lawyers. Not gonna lie. Oh, some of this music is a straight up vibe. I kind of like it. But I'm more so interested in, like, character designs look a little weird, but look at the animation in the background. That actually looks good. And let me be a little bit more clear here. I think this might show that this shows that this series could have some, like, fairly decent animation going here, which excites me because I'm one of those guys who gets really, really excited about good animation. I'm one of those guys who really likes it when everything is like smooth and visually clean and not super like choppy or clunky, I guess. One of the issues I have with a lot of like American and Western uh animation styles, particularly for like TV shows, is fights feel like they lack a certain amount of energy. They feel clunky, they feel burdensome. And what I mean is, you'll see a character throw a punch, and they'll just sit there like this after throwing the punch while the other guy goes flying. And the movement of all of that scene just sort of feels like it wasn't taken seriously. So when I see stuff like this, hold on a second. Some of this stuff like this, I don't know how I feel about like some of these character animations, but again, this is a trailer. So I guess I probably shouldn't be reading into it too much, but I digress. The thing about like anime that I really love is the way motion is done. And I would have to like go find the specific instances, but like one of the things that I have noticed about American cartoons is like it almost feels like things are just sort of like sliding around way too smoothly. It almost feels mechanical. There's a level of like natural smoothness you get to like someone doing this, like when someone moves, but like finding the right times to really like speed things up and when to use that sort of, or how to pace things, I should say. Learning how to pace things properly. And I don't feel like American cartoons pace action or movement very well anymore. In Young Justice, there's this scene where you have a bunch of people running from the background and they're coming to the foreground to try and aid some characters, but you can see that their feet moving along the ground do not match, or their pace does not match the pace of their feet against the ground. What it looks like is they're running in place and being slowly moved towards the screen. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There is a dissonance in motion in some of these things that I feel more often than not anime just doesn't have. Now there are some like genuinely bad bits of animation. You can look at like XR and Berserk 2016. Yeah, you get the point. But hello, sir. So nice of you to join me. As far as like the American cartoon stuff, I guess I would have to check out Invincible. People said there were some really good scenes for animation and stuff in Invincible, but it was one of those things that kind of got pigeonholed for me. I always meant to watch it and just never did. I got like drowned out by stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer. The stuff that was like going hog wild in the animation department. And like another comparison, like Disney movies do good animation with the 3D stuff, but I've always been partial to like 2D stuff. That's why I hate seeing a lot of CGI in cartoons or CGI based cartoons. It's probably one of my bigger complaints about the Clone Wars is I didn't like that animation style. It's kind of a nitpicky thing. As much as I love the Clone Wars and it was like a huge part of my childhood, I'd sit there like waiting for it to come on every weekend. But like with Puss in Boots that came out, was that would have been last year or was it early this year? The Last Wish, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish did some fantastic freaking animation for like fight scenes and stuff, and like some of the Disney movies and stuff had really good animation, but are like made for TV streaming kind of cartoon stuff just doesn't hold up sometimes. It's like I said with that Injustice clip where you have a bunch of people sitting there running in the background and their feet hitting the ground. It does not match the pace of their movement. And it looks like they're running on treadmills. It looks like they're running on treadmills and being slowly dragged towards the screen. They should have stuck with the 03 look for CW. Are we talking like the old like DC cartoon kind of look? Oops. Because oh shit. Because yeah, this stuff actually looks good. And it's well written too. So one of the sad things is like cartoons used to actually like look good. Like Mask of the Phantasm looked amazing. It was amazing. Probably the best Batman movie I've ever watched. I want to finish this one out. I have a couple more to. Yeah, it's just going to introduce a bunch of characters, like a teaser and all that. That's what I thought. It is what it is. The other one, though, there are a couple of more like action based ones. There's one Go Go Loser Ranger. Maybe I should pull that one up. It's basically like oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The Oath. Okay, yeah. All right, right. I've completely forgot that 03 Clone Wars was a thing. Yeah, actually, that was. I actually liked some of those. I saw some of the old clips from that. That was some cool stuff, but I never watched those. I should probably. I can. They're probably. probably on the site I use. It has like everything. But I found out what this was not too long ago. It's basically just the boys in Power Rangers, is what it was described to me as. And I'm curious to see what they've got going for this, because this is the second trailer, getting closer to release date. Yep. Yeah. So this one was basically the boys in, oh god, CGI helicopter right off the bat. Okay, you know what, actually? They literally do not give me any subtitles to work with here. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I don't know why I watch dubs, man. But the animation is kind of hit and miss on this one. Like, some of it is like freeze framey kind of action, which is the reason I hated Fairy Tail. Some of it looks like it could be good. Like, it shows random like flashes of promise to me. The premise already is kind of like got me interested, because it's basically, like I said, just the boys with the Power Rangers. And you have a bunch of like evil Power Rangers and a guy who's out to try and fuck them up to get revenge. Yeah, and they're all fucking psychos, aren't they? Huh. It kind of sucks that I can't like tell what they're trying to get at. Normally these trailers come with some sort of dubbing, or not dubbing, subtitles. Fuck, I'm retarded. And I still don't like this trailer isn't telling me a whole lot without anything in English. I mean, I kind of already know the premise of it. So what is this guy like? Okay, so if I'm extrapolating this properly, this guy's some sort of like regenerating immortal who's pissed off like Billy Butcher and trying to kill a bunch of sadistic evil Power Rangers. I'll watch it. I'll bite. In all honesty, it does look interesting to me. But I never honestly would have touched it if I hadn't gotten the recommendation from someone who read the manga on that one, or whatever it comes from. They were saying they were looking forward to that one. This one, the final trailer I gotta pull this fucking shit up, is the last one that I was really excited about. And too bad it doesn't come out until next year. Oh, might as well just go into it. The teaser trailer for it had me pretty excited for it. Okay. Kind of liking the music. So I'm already kind of liking the animation and stuff. It looks like it's going to be another one of those, like along the lines of Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, where people basically just sit there and gawk at the animation. And this is one I've actually read. I actually like the story on this one, though it is kind of simple. It's nothing like super deep or amazing. It's basically just, hello, guy wants to be a kaiju hunter pretty much, but he fucking sucks at it. At least they don't make the monsters like shit. They actually kind of look like cool kaiju. I like it. Oh, wait. Hold on. That whole sequence right there just looks fucking sick. I mean, it looks like they're putting in a decent amount of effort into animation for like action and stuff, which is basically my whole hope for this series because it's really just like stacking action and action and action on top of itself. What's this one about? So this is Kaiju number 8, and basically these two characters here in this flashback lost like their entire home to basically Pacific Rim style monsters coming up out of nowhere. So the world forms these like kaiju defense forces with like these people with like super suits that allow them to like fight at like superhuman capacity, but not everyone can use them. And this chick is naturally gifted at it, and the main character has absolutely zero talent for it. So instead, if it'll show it here. Yep. So instead, through some basically the dude becomes a kaiju himself, and he's sentient, can control the power, but kind of a taboo thing to have someone become one of these monsters. And I don't know if there's any sort of like big deep plot to it yet. I am only 6 volumes into this one, and one of my big like I'm blanking here. One of the things I'm looking forward to in this is just the animation of action. That's one of the things that anime tends to deliver on for me is like actually giving like really like exciting fight scenes, which is why I love Jujutsu Kaisen and why I was disappointed in Demon Slayer this year. So this one actually looks like it's going to take its action animation seriously. And one of my big issues is they could still decide they're just going to freeze frame the action sequence, which would suck. But to be a little more clear, to answer your question, Pilgrim, basically Kafka, the main character, gets kaiju powers, and he finally gets the opportunity to be the hero he's always wanted to be his entire life. And actually match up to his longtime friend who's just naturally gifted at this. It's basically another one of those I found an alternative way to being overpowered kind of stories. I don't think it's something like super revolutionary. Like when I first saw this, I basically said to myself, wow, it kind of seems like they're doing the same thing as like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Some dude inherits a forbidden power, and all of a sudden he's on the path to being the most powerful person around. Not exactly unusual in these. I mean, the Japanese find something that works and they run with it until they beat it into the ground. So yeah. Yeah. Well, Atla's another good one. Another one that kind of I guess you could call it honorary anime, and honestly, I would include like Samurai Jack as honorary anime sometimes. But Atla's another one that does action really well. Um it kind of like caught the tail end of like the height of basically what I call the height of Western animation. Yes, a lot of the stuff we have does have good animation, but it also lacks any sort of like compelling story, which is why I love The Last Wish, because it was actually like a really good story and amazing animation. I'm a freak when it comes to animation, and I have ridiculously high standards sometimes on some of this stuff. Like I'm sitting there watching the Cowboy Bebop movie, picking out all the CGI that they're using in it, and it looks good in that movie. It really does, but they still use CGI, and I'm still gonna shit on it if it's CGI. I did a whole video on that talking about like CGI and anime and stuff like that already, so I'm not gonna rush into it. But I've done about all the positive thinking I can with the topics I came to this with. So now it's time to get into the revolutionizing human stupidity section of this. We got Tim Sheridan, Director X, and some random dude claiming that the Japanese are actually a black culture. So I guess we'll start with the Tim Sheridan stuff. Here we go. So what this person says, kind of relevant actually. Hey, I did a variant cover for this cool book called Alan Scott, The Green Lantern, set in the 40s, telling his story as a closeted queer man. And this is where the fun part starts. So basically, Tim Sheridan wrote a Green Lantern comic that's pretty much boy love manga. And if you don't know what the problem with that is that particular genre is targeted at women. Surprise, surprise. Gay shipping targeted at women. And if you don't know the history on that, on like why this is a bad move, well, look at how Tim Drake went over. Look at how John Kent went over. Neither of those characters, once these writers got in and started like gay shipping them to making them bisexuals or whatever, none of those comics lasted. They hit like they did like 17 to 20 issues and then shit canned them. The Tim Drake stuff was notorious because it also had ridiculously bad artwork. That's coming from a guy who can't draw. This gets even more interesting though, because on top of just being the fact that Sheridan wrote this story to basically make it a queer representation sort of politics move, something to like preach at people like look how oppressed everyone was. It was also marketed as an own the haters movement. So this is the actual guy's post, and he has some comments down. He has the whole thing restricted. No one can respond. And already you can tell this dude looks like he enjoys it in the rear. So comics friends, queer friends, allies, I need your help. Please share this and let's work together to deliver CG Comicsgate a big L. This is what he had to say.
Hey, I'm Tim Sheridan, writer of DC's Alan Scott, The Green Lantern, and I just opened up a box of advanced copies of issue 1, which look amazing. This is the main cover, which also gets a virgin foil variant, and that's by the great and powerful David Talaski. There's also 2 other amazing.
At the very least, I think the covers look kind of interesting. And I'm basing that off the fact, like, if it were a manga, I'd probably pick it up and look at it. Check it out. Not the gay part, but just based off the artwork. It would at least grab my attention.
Variants, one by John K. Snyder III, and
That looked
this
good.
beautiful portrait by Nick Robles. I am here to ask you a favor. The book comes out next DC Tuesday, October 24th, but already the haters and the queerphobes are out in force, doing everything they can to see that this book tanks. They use code and they make it sound like they have legit problems with a book they haven't read yet. But the truth is, they just don't like that there's a queer hero in the.
Okay. So first of all, this whole idea that people hate queer heroes was disproved by Licorice Recoil. Licorice Recoil. Do people ship Tim and John? No. So basically, what's that is they turned Tim Drake Robin gay, gave him a boyfriend and everything, and turned the Tim Drake Robin comics into basically just a gay shipping romance between Robin and his boyfriend. And then the John Kent stuff gets even funnier because they made John Kent gay, the son of Superman gay, and they gave him a boyfriend whose ability is to phase through reality. So they literally can't kill him. Effectively, it's not that they're shipping Tim and John. It is that they took these characters and sort of hijacked them to preach a diversity message. And look, I've never given a fuck whether you ride rockets or slam clams. But please, if you're going to do something like this, go make an original character. Like Licorice Recoil. People love that show. Everyone loved Chisato because she was fucking fun. I probably should have phrased that better. She was fun. She was lively. She was a very likable character. It wasn't just, oh, well, I'm gay, therefore you should get in on this. That was a side issue. She had her whole character arc, basically like knowing she's going to die by the age of 18 and still living life to the fullest and all of that and like not letting it get her down. And yeah. Licorice Recoil summed up in one sentence: lesbian schoolgirl assassins. There you go. But this idea that, back to what I was saying, now that I've circled all the way back around, this idea that just because people don't like your queer character, or people, sorry, I should phrase that better. The idea that people don't like your queer character just because they're queer is utter bullshit. They hate it because you're in there hijacking their favorite things to try and preach your own agenda. You're not out here actually telling a good story people want. What you have sold this on so far is the idea that it is gay Green Lantern in the 40s being a closeted queer person, and that you should buy it because people you don't like hate it. People call me homophobic, but I'm in my home right now. Checkmate, liberal. Trust me, Pilgrim, there is no one more phobic and racist than my younger brother. And he inherited the blonde hair, blue eyes genetics. I speak one language and I can't even do that correctly tonight.
The upper ranks of the DCU. The only way we can shut these people down is to make this book an undeniable success. The only way to prove to all the big publishers that there's a huge market for authentic stories about LGBTQIA plus characters.
But there's not. And this has been proved time and time again. When you take characters and you try to retroactively make them diversity characters, their sales fall off. I mean, I covered this with the Magdalene Visaggio stuff last week when we talked about Superman. Yes, he is manipulating people. They want to go in and they want to put themselves in it. So I have no idea what this dude's sexuality is. But I'd be willing to put money on the fact that he's LGBT. He's the LGTV plus big screen.
And that these stories are for everyone is to buy the heck out of books like this. This one's only 6 issues, and each one has a few variants. So I'm asking, if you have the means, buy them up. Buy extras to give to people you think really need to read it. Now, you might say this sounds like a great way for Tim Sheridan to make a bundle in royalties. Well, no, I won't make a penny because every single royalty I receive from these 6 issues will go straight to a charity that's very important to me and that I've supported for a long time, the Elton John AIDS Foundation, which works to prevent HIV stigma and provide compassionate care for all communities.
So, yes, this guy is basically just trying to pitch this as the I'm making a gay comic book, and because I hate Ethan Van Sciver and everyone involved with him, and he's talking shit about my comic, I therefore need to go and destroy. I lost my train of thought here. I hate Ethan Van Sciver. I don't want him to be right. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that if you want to own the haters and you want to prove that we're right, you got to buy this book. But the issue is people don't buy these books in the past. And DC and Marvel are collectively burning money doing this stuff. It's proven by the fact that, manga is beating comics out. I mean, One Piece outsold all of Batman. One Piece. It's insane. But One Piece has 100 volumes. There's a lot.
I am asking you to join the core. If you care about truth and justice, about shining a light in the darkness, if you think comics are and should continue to be for everyone, or if you just want to force these Comics Gate trolls back under the bridge they crawled out from, please support our book and send a message that the bullying and the lies and the hate have to stop.
You mean like you guys did to Ethan Van Sciver? Creating like secret circles to force him out of the comics industry and then trying to make sure he couldn't do any work to feed his family? You mean like Magdalene Visaggio falsifying accusations of sexual harassment against a person in DC Comics? That's not bullying. No, bullying is you criticize my artwork. You see, these people don't give a flip about any of that stuff. Neither do the corpos. Neither do the corporations. They're using it. What Tim Sheridan wants here is to keep his job. He wants the position because he doesn't want other people to prove how bad he is. And notice one thing he's never said in here, and I'll touch on it by the end of this story, or by the end of this video.
Everyone deserves to see themselves in comics.
My favorite line. My favorite flipping line. Everyone deserves to see themselves in comics. So you can't look at some sort of intangible quality in someone. You can't see yourself in that. You can't say, I don't look at a character and be like, I want to be like that. I want that persistence. I want that determination. I want that heroism, that courage, that strength of character. One of my favorite characters of all time is nothing like me, at least physically. I don't see myself in him. Subaru Natsuki from ReZero. Character who draws a lot of flack for being like outrageously obnoxious in the first season. But this is like, it's a character that, one, I kind of identified with. And two, a guy who literally suffers through hell repeatedly because of the powers he's been cursed with. Having to watch the people he cares about die over and over and over and over again. And still keeps on fighting because he wants to actually try and make a difference in their lives, to try and save people. I'm not explaining this very well, but the point I'm making with this is, you don't look at Superman and say, oh, well, he's a straight white guy, therefore he's me. No, you look at Superman and you say, he fights for justice. He's a good person. He's kind and caring. That's me. Not in so much an arrogant way, but in an aspiring way. That's why these characters matter. And that's why your shallow LGBTQ representative diversity DIE characters do not work, because they don't have the underlying character qualities that people love. The fact is, Batman the Animated Series isn't fantastic because Batman is a straight white guy. In this series, Batman is the best I have ever seen him. This is a guy who, like, in spite of the things you might not like about him, you can respect the fact that he's dedicating his life to making the lives of everyone in the city better so that they don't have to go through what he went through. And now you read stuff like Batman 137, where basically Batman's the root of all evil because he doesn't give all his money away. And because he arrests people for committing, or he stops people from committing crimes, and therefore they then have to commit more crimes. Yes, this is exactly the case. They are shallow people. And if you need a mirror to see yourself in a character, you're a shallow, egotistical, narcissistic, arrogant piece of work. That's what you are. Yes, the latest Batman comics, I actually went over them a bit on my channel here. Basically, Catwoman rounds up all the henchmen in the city and forms like a henchmen's union that only robs rich people because that's acceptable. And when Batman goes to stop said criminals from robbing people and committing crimes, all of his sidekicks turn on him. And they go and they help Catwoman and try to protect actual criminals. And he beats the shit out of them. All of them at once. And it was only Damian Wayne who knew like, yeah, y'all are being stupid. So they basically like strip away everything that is Batman. It's the Selena Kyle Catwoman. The one that Batman almost married.
Everyone needs allies. And if you're an ally, now is the time to step up. We outnumber them. So let's pool our power, vote with our wallets, and
it's not the black
beat
one.
These assholes.
Selena Kyle is like
add as many of
Hispanic or something like that. I don't know.
Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, to your pull list.
She's a white
today.
Hispanic.
Pick them up in store next week, Tuesday the 24th. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we're done with this guy's pitch. And you know what the one thing it didn't include was? A talk about quality. It never came up. It was never, this is a good comic. I put my heart and soul into this. I wanted to tell a good story, one that readers will love. No, the whole pitch was it's gay, own the haters, everyone should see themselves. And he blocked the comments. But he has some of his own here. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. There we go. That'll work for now, I guess. So basically, we have here, for you innocents wondering what CG is, they're a hateful group of misogynist, queerphobic, racist a-holes who actively work to take down comics with any hint of diversity. They deserve a big loss. That would be the L mentioned. Because this guy. Well, first of all, Comicsgate is none of those. Comicsgate is a couple of guys who write a story about a cybernetic frog fighting a bunch of wasps because wasps are assholes. There I am. So then he says, by the way, the quote posts are hilarious on this. Lots of the CGA holes are mad because I didn't frame this as read my story because it's good and you'll like it. I say that's implicit. If I had any confidence, they knew that word. All right, well, thanks for giving me any amount of time at all. Have a good one. This guy spent an entire video and didn't mention quality and has to go back and mention the fact that, oh, well, the quality is just implicit. But your primary pitch shows what you care about. Your primary pitch showed exactly what was the priority to you. Owning the haters because gay. So every time I've seen stuff like that happen, more likely than every time I've seen this kind of stuff happen, it's failed. These people have failed. And they continue to fail upward. So yes, Tim Sheridan is stupid. He's a guy who needs a mirror to see himself in a character. He cannot see anything but himself, and if it's not physically him, he can't relate. That's a shallow person. A person who doesn't actually care about anyone but themselves. Time to move on. To a rather interesting bit of information here. So here, this guy is claiming that the Japanese culture is actually black. And I'll spare you all the details because it's just a long-winded video of this guy basically saying, look, there's some artwork that's similar. There's some cultural stuff that's similar. There's some language stuff that's similar between Japan and Africa. Let me, oops. No. I've done a stupid. There we go. Basically, he goes on to talk about all this and like, well, it's actually black. The difference is that you have two cultures that have evolved completely separately. They might share a common origin, but then again, you could make the same comments about every civilization. They all share a common origin. cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia. Therefore, everything is Mesopotamian, everything is Middle Eastern. You're completely ignoring centuries worth of cultural development, worth of differences, completely different outcomes to get to this conclusion. Of course, you have Asian Dawn here. I'm told all the positive aspects of everything Asian is actually black, and all the negative is ours. And this man Fenrir, he's a great guy to follow on Twitter. Yeah, that's called cultural appropriation. They're trying to steal your culture because in reality, they are mostly ashamed of their own and they want your stuff to be theirs without any real work. It kind of plays into the last segment. Why? Hijacking of culture. So let me paint you a picture. Why is it so important that they do all this stuff? That they go out of their way to make everything about them. Because they need to feel important. See, the issue is Africa has, for centuries, remained largely the third world. You can blame that on colonization, but the fact of the matter is that Europe and just about everywhere else in the world developed at much the same rate as each other. I mean, Chinese civilizations and all that, and Africa lagged behind. Eastern civilizations developed gunpowder and a lot of other things. Western civilizations developed the Industrial Revolution. There was that. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. Fuck. You do not get to go in and claim that just because there's some similarities, that therefore everything that's good about your culture is actually ours. You don't get to go in and just claim you're a part of the history and therefore that it was good because of you. The fact of the matter is we have plenty of history to prove that there are tons of good and tons of bad people of all kinds. You cannot claim, therefore, that Asian culture is black just because there are some similarities. And you cannot then go on to claim that the good parts are the result of black culture. Because look at the stuff that's happened in Africa. The tribal wars, the disputes, all of that stuff. Africa spent thousands of years warring against itself. Meanwhile, every other civilization was developing their own way of life. China was becoming China. The Western world was setting out and conquering and developing new things, furthering humanity. The Middle East was establishing empires. Yikers. Japanese culture is, well, not just Japanese, Asian culture is the result of its own unique circumstances. Not the influence of other cultures, its own unique circumstances. African culture is the result of its own unique circumstances, as well as, the European scramble to colonize Africa. That did play a huge issue in screwing things up there. Again, the issue of superimposing a bunch of nations over existing ethnic groups that don't get along. Who could have thought that would go wrong? The reality is there are tons of people who want to hijack everything in culture to make it about them. Just like with Tim Sheridan, with Director X. Funny enough that I should mention that because he's coming back. With all of these writers destroying DC, destroying Marvel, destroying Star Wars, destroying Lord of the Rings, these people want to make it about themselves. They want to see themselves only physically. They cannot see character as something that is innately human. They cannot see the inner workings of a person's personality and character and aspire to something like that. They can only think that, well, I'll never see myself because they don't share the same skin color as me. They don't share the same genitals as me. And they don't have the same bedroom activities as me. Those kinds of people are shallow. And they'll do anything to justify changing culture and existing entertainment to fit their own ideology and to serve them. They can't be reasoned with. They shouldn't be reasoned with. These are people you should just ignore, do your own thing, enjoy your hobbies. Gatekeep them. That's why gatekeeping is important. Because these people are tourists. They don't actually care about the thing. It's just popular now, and therefore they want to get in on it and make it about themselves. All right. I think it's time to bring up the second to last topic of the night. Some more revolutionizing human stupidity. With one Director X. So here, if to those of you listening who might not know who Director X is, this is a guy who has produced a TV show for streaming platform Global that airs in Canada. Now, why the fuck do we care about anything that Canada does? Well, because said TV show is a take on the classic tale of Robin Hood. Not only that, it's a made-for-modern audiences Robin Hood. Something that removes a piece of culture from its entire context and tries to make it for a modern audience, therefore losing any of the importance it had, any of the impact it had. What this man did was he made a Robin Hood that features an all-black group of people led by a woman named Robin. And now these people are legitimately the stupidest fucking criminals you will ever encounter. Like, they're so straight up dumb. They should have been caught in the first episode. And this man is having an absolute melty over the fact that people don't like his show. A show that got the lowest possible score it could on IMDb. It got a 1 star. Not a 1.1, a 1. It can't get a 0 because you can't rate lower than 1. People hated this show. And he took it personally. And he started beefing with every creator who made a video about his stuff. So here he is whining like a little bitch. So let's hear what he has to say.
So I'm watching this one video. This guy Az.
Heel versus babyface.
Heels versus babyface. And I subscribe to you. So Az goes, the opening scenes in a construction site with shaky cam. Shaky cam, he means handheld.
Does the guy sound salty to you? Because he sounds hella salty to me. It sounds like if you put him in a pool, you'd be able to stand on that water with how much salt he's putting off.
Yeah.
And I know what shaky, and you know what shaky cam is. Shaky cam's like when they're doing a fight scene and you can barely see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Handheld is not shaky cam. But they have to hate everything. Everything has to be horrible for them. So even the fact that they're shooting a music video on a construction site, what the fuck is weird about that? It's handheld. What is weird? What? And they're laughing. And they're all like this. You're all like this. So let me talk to the ones that are actually normal guys. You look goofy. They laugh at every line. They laugh at everything.
Maybe because you made an utter abomination that can't be taken seriously and is so ridiculous, people can't help but laugh at you. Honk, honk. Since you want to go acting all goofy, how about a professional clown license? You're not just a clown. You're the whole damn circus. But let's continue.
No matter what happens, they laugh and you look goofy because you know it's fake. It looks fake. You're being fake. You look goofy. You look stupid.
He has done nothing but insult people this whole time, call them goofy, fake, and stupid. Wearing sunglasses indoors, talking to a dude with a disco ball over his head. You have not addressed any of the points that I've seen people raise. Watch a singular Disparu video on this series. They're good videos. He does he does the Lord's work on that one. Disparu does some good coverage of this. He's like the only person I know of who's actively covering this. And he points out all of the idiocy, all of the awful writing, all of the dumb takes and absolutely batshit insane things that happen in this series. He doesn't look goofy. He actually looks pretty base when he does it.
Every line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line where the mother says, you came in late last night. Everything all right? There's some condoms in the cookie jar.
All right. Let me point out that that's not just the line. I know this line. The line is, I heard you come in late last night. I filled up the condom jar if you need a re-up. Keep that in mind. That is the exact line.
Don't want you catching nothing. What a whore! She's a whore like her mom. What? That's laugh out loud funny.
No, your line implies that they went through a whole fucking jar of condoms and filled it up again. Meaning that between the 3 women in the household, they're fucking enough dudes to go through a whole fucking cookie jar of condoms. So stop framing it in a disingenuous way. What they pointed out was the insanity of the line you actually wrote. That's what people were laughing at. Because what you said is, What you said is we went through a whole jar of condoms and I filled up more. So we can go through a whole other jar of condoms.
That the mother acknowledges that her kid might get pregnant or get something. That's funny. Because where I'm sitting, I don't hear that kind of talk on TV. I think that's actually something positive to tell young people, hey man, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just pregnancy.
How about don't stick that there without that on? Or don't stick that there to begin with. See, pregnancy can be avoided 98% of the time with condoms, 99% of the time with birth control, and 100% of the time by keeping it in your pants. You want to encourage people just putting themselves out there just because. Cool. And maybe that's just the Christian perspective speaking here, but your line kind of suggests that they're acting like whores.
Be careful.
Yep.
She said condoms. You sound crazy.
Again, straw man. Nobody's laughing at the fact that they said condoms. They're laughing at how insane the line is written. This guy has had an absolute melty for 3 weeks straight. Started beefing with one of the nicest guys on the internet, Jay Davis, Drunk 3PO, or David's. Jay David. His name is Jay David. Drunk 3PO, one of the nicest guys on the internet. And you're going to beef with that guy, really? And then pretend like everyone else is goofy? The fact of the matter is, it isn't just these goofy people. Everyone's laughing at you, bro. Because you're a clown. The whole damn circus. You are level 100 in clowning. Your Honor, I rest my case.
You sound crazy. Would you really do that around me? Would you really do that around like us?
Yeah.
Is that a threat? No, it's not. Yeah, I would laugh at your utterly ridiculous, stupid fucking line. I would. I would absolutely make fun of you for it.
Would you really? That's how you behave around us? Really? If we were all out drinking, that's how you carry on? You know you wouldn't. But this is how, but they're in their own little silo doing all this stuff and think they're, you know what I mean? And I'm just looking at it like, yo, bro.
Actually, this is the kind of stuff I do all the time. It's the whole reason I started a YouTube channel, because I was annoying my friends with it. At least here, they now have the option of whether they want to hear my rants or not. Get over your ego, dude. Get over your ego.
Like, I'm really holding back, like, bro, what do you, yo, bro, this is how you carry on?
Mm-hmm.
This is how you carry on. Now we're getting into like, I'm questioning your manhood. I'm questioning a lot about you, who you are, because you're acting like a fucking goof.
Yeah, man.
Let me insult your culture, and don't fight back against me, because then you're goofy, you're stupid, you're not a man. You took a piece of English folklore, bastardized it, lobotomized it. And when people didn't like that, you got salty, you got mad, and the only person who's looking goofy is you.
haters are always gonna hate. You can't really like please everyone. This is what it is. Even with this podcast, still people hate writing hate comments. Oh, why are you wearing that mask? Oh, why are you interrupting this person? Oh, you could do this better. You could do that better. You could have mixed this better. I'm just like, it is
You
what
can't.
it is. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. At some point,
It's
you
what
can't
it is.
regard it. But then, if someone were to come at you with a real following,
Mhm.
I mean, some of these guys got 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Some of these guys got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Those guys, then you should actually say something back.
Yeah.
Why? Because you can try and use it as clout. He doesn't care. He just wants to beef with people to get more attention on his show. That's what this is. Why didn't I realize that? He just wants to beef with someone like 3PO or Nerdrotic or heel versus babyface because he wants to get on their show and draw all attention on him.
All right, then let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. For any of y'all, heels versus babyface, neurotic, Dispura, critical drinker.
Disparoo.
What's my guy, the executive guy from CBC, Chapman or whatever your name is. Who else is that? Ryan, Mr. H Reviews. Any of y'all, I will come on your show. I'll come on your group chat. I'll come on your show. You gonna bring me on your show? Have a real, not turn off the camera in the middle, yell at me and turn it off and laugh. Like a full-on conversation all the way to the end. We say goodbye to one another. I'll come on any one of y'all show. You can do it together. You can do it one by one. Any one of y'all.
This guy's acting tough, but he ain't shit. This dude ain't shit. There's another. Piece going on here, which I'm going to try and run through really quick here.
Some good reviews and some bad reviews. Tell me about it, man. How did that,
Like, so when the very next day the show came out,
Yeah.
there were 5 reviews.
Okay.
4 of them were 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
One of them was a no star.
Okay.
Right. And so it was really interesting to the point that I started checking, like, where are these coming from? Like, I sure as fuck didn't get nobody to give us 10 out of 10s. I know the network didn't pay no, like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, these real 10 out of 10? Why are they all 10 out of 10? But they're all, you could see they watched the show, they enjoyed the show. You know what I mean? Like, the show's really, you like Riverdale, you like, if on your show you could be team so-and-so, you know what I'm saying? Look, what's that movie? The original team with the vampire. Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight.
You like Twilight, you like Riverdale, you like that pretty people with superpowers. This is your kind of show. You know what I'm saying? If you like hardcore Star Wars, you like Batman breaking people's face, this is this isn't your type of nerd show. So the first 4, 10 out of 10, love the show. The last one is like, this is woke trash. This is, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because the nerd community, angry nerd community, when they found out we were making Black Robin Hood, a black woman Robin Hood, modern day, they lost their minds.
Yes, because you people literally do not understand the importance, the cultural relevance of this show, of this story, where it comes from. You see, dude rob big, rich person, give to poor. You completely disregard the fact that Robin Hood was a nobleman who fought back against a corrupt king to try and free his country. That is Robin Hood.
They were convinced this was going to be woke. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they've been review bombing the show, right? And every time you look at the comments, you're like, oh, it's horrible. This is woke trash. To the point, like, some of them you read, like, you're not well. No, yeah, some incel shit. You know what I'm saying? So even in that, when I read it, of course.
Oh, pot, meat, kettle. This dude is obsessing over everything. He is coping and seething. He can't stand the fact that people don't like his show. He can't stand it. He absolutely cannot stand the fact that people don't like it. That's why he's doing all this. That, and he wants the attention. He literally did all of this just to get the negative attention because that's what he wants. He wants people to pay attention to him, and it's easier to get attention when you're an asshole who pisses everyone off because everyone starts gossiping about you than it is to try and make something that's actually good. Because I've seen this show, enough of it at least, to tell you that it is some of the dumbest, most inane writing I have ever experienced in my life. And trust me, I watch a lot of bad anime. And this somehow takes the cake. This somehow managed to be one of the worst bits of writing I have ever experienced.
Of course, my instinct is fucking, you know what I mean? But then I had to calm myself and kind of look like some of these guys ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these guys are literally incels.
Yeah.
So all the negative comments are all talking about being woke,
Incel comment. Take a drink.
pushing agendas, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's it's racist shit. Like, honestly,
yeah.
like when you start seeing they have all the videos. You go Robinhood YouTube, all the videos come up. They're all making fun of it. One guy had a image of a wizard with fried chicken and a black wizard with fried chicken and a gold necklace on.
Okay, I actually want to find that, and maybe I'll do something on that next week. But I wonder if that's just the dude's channel avatar. And that's what he uses for all his videos. It would be hilarious if that person he's talking about turns out to be a actual black person. No, but this guy is he cannot handle the fact that people don't like his show. And he wants to label it as racist, or you're incel, you're racist, you're incels, you're an angry nerd, you're a loser. He has not disputed a single point that people have raised. That Robin and her group are morally corrupt. That they literally stole from someone, sold his car, and then we're going to use the money to, one, post bail for someone who was arrested for trespassing, two, throw a party. These are also criminals so idiotic, they shot a video of themselves with the stolen car, put it up on the internet. Oh, and they used their home as the backdrop and said, "We live here." These are not intelligent criminals.
New Robin Hood show. Like, this is who we're dealing with. Like, it's mask off time. You know what I'm saying? You're like, we know there's levels of racism.
Yeah.
There's a line they have in their head that we're not supposed to cross. You're out of place. And in this case, it's a black woman being Robin Hood. And
Yeah, when you try to insert yourself into another nation's into an existing nation's culture, when you try to put yourself into their history just because you can, it's called cultural appropriation, my friend. Fuck you. This guy seriously pisses me off because he is the exact kind of egotistical, self-aggrandizing prick that drives me crazy about the entertainment industry. He's so focused on how everyone else is wrong that he can't even see the problems with his own creation. Again, I'm going to plug another one of my videos. The Breaking Point. Why modern entertainment sucks. talk about all this stuff in there.
And they lost their mind and they feel it's an easy dunk. But again, you can, when you read those reviews, I'm telling everybody, go read the reviews. You'll see, like, oh, you guys ain't right.
Yeah.
If you go on to YouTube, if you go on YouTube, you see these guys ain't right. You see the guys making the comments. If you go on Instagram and you look at the negative comments, it's always a page that has no followers, or that's private, or they don't post anything. And if they do post, it's never of themselves. Once in a blue moon, you might kind of get a guy. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are triggered by the show. Some of them are literally not well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And other ones, like, look, man, anger for men is an easy emotion to express. Like when you have actors, right, and you're beginning your acting career, men often.
I'm done with this guy. I can't take it. He is. But you know what? I'm going to take his advice. I'm going to take his advice. And we're going to look at some reviews here. I got the IMDb page up. And I will present to you in a hot second. So let's read some reviews. Let's see what he's talking about. So as you can see, currently sitting at a 1 out of 10 with 5.1K ratings. Check out user reviews. Okay, this clearly was never meant to make it to air. The script is just awful. Plain right awful. I've seen adult videos with better scripts, production, plot, and acting than this. Characters spew their dialogue, and the script is so clipped. It's like the actors just wait for the other characters to finish talking before saying their line. It's like a notch above a school play, but with a worse script. The script makes zero effort to endear any of the characters to you. The main bad guy has more endearing qualities than the protagonists, all of who are just portrayed as narcissistic petty criminals. Who was this made for? Rich people, or police/rich people, bad is all you need to know. The plot is the most terrible part of the whole lot. It all feels like someone scribbled the whole thing down in a space of half an hour while consuming mind-altering substances. Seriously, how did this make air, let alone past pre-production vetting? It's utter cringe garbage to the point watching it is actually funny to laugh at. I loved the bit with the computer hacker guy who had to hack into a drone for reasons in the most utterly absurd way possible. Who seriously goes on a night heist all dressed in black with their face all lit up with LEDs? Oh, and then in the middle of the heist decides it's time to test the newly hacked drone? Ooh, what is this one? Let's see what this has to say. Who writes this crap? The show is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The music is awful. The whole premise is just nonsensical. Robin is a criminal in this, not a person fighting for the people. They commit crimes in this show: trespass, trying to rob, destroying police property, etc. It's a comedy more than anything. If you want a good laugh, I will watch the show. The acting is passable at best. None of it makes any sense. It simply doesn't. The fact that they would shoot a video on private property and then get upset when one of them get arrested for commuting it, just laughable. The mom getting shot makes no sense either. Just stupid. If this lasts longer than one season, something is wrong. So horrible, it's funny. I'm not even sure how to say this, but it was so horrible. Halfway through, I found myself laughing. It was so bad. I have honestly never done that before in a TV show. Between the terrible writing, the terrible acting, terrible CGI, terrible stunt effects, this reminds me of something made by a high school kid and his friend. They cast a white woman as the sheriff, who must be 100 pounds wet, whose biceps are smaller than my wrist. She kicks a cop and knocks him over after they fail her. It's so laughably painful to watch. The entire story is just some high school kids and Robin, who the actress is probably 110 pounds, can just throw grown male cops in gear around like they are rag dolls with no training or superpowers. It's cringe, it's stupid, it's dumb to the point I laughed. It might be the worst TV show ever made. Huh. Everyone seems to... Even if you get past the bad acting, bad script, bad camera work, and bad production, you are ultimately left with a terrible iteration of Robin Hood that ignores the original. I think I've done my part. I think I've proven my point. And I think this has gone on long enough. This incident is the epitome of everything that is wrong with Hollywood, everything that is wrong with the entertainment industry. And I am very bright right now. I need to maybe take care of that. You have a bunch of people who cannot be responsible for their own failures. These are people who will not ever accept the fact that they've created something awful. They created a bad iteration of the Robin Hood story. The Robin Hood story was never steal from the rich, give to the poor. It was steal from the government, give to the taxpayer, because the government is corrupt and crooked. Robin Hood was a nobleman. That's something I won't tell you. So it is a bad iteration at its core, layered over with a patina of diversity, equity, and inclusion, just so it can be used as a shield. The fact of the matter is that this is a series made solely as a vanity project because someone felt entitled to do so. And it was done poorly. And because of that, people don't like it. And now you have an egomaniac of a director who absolutely can't stand the idea that his show sucks. And that makes him salty. So he goes out of his way to beef with everyone who disagrees with him, who doesn't like his show. Seriously, have you ever seen Drunk 3PO? How do you beef with a guy like that? I gotta finish his book. I gotta start reading his book. I still haven't touched it. Director X spends so much energy, wastes so much energy on people he calls haters. If he really truly believed that these people were haters and that they just didn't like him because reasons, he wouldn't waste his energy on them. I mean, I engage with people in my own comments, people who disagree with me, to some extent, because I like to push myself. I like the challenge, and when people push back at me, I'll take it. If it's something that's absolutely inane and I know is not worth my time, I'll ignore it. I don't give the energy to people who are just going to sit there and be an asshole to me because they don't like me. If someone actually brings up a legitimate complaint, I'll argue it. Fine. This guy addressed no legitimate complaints in his ranting. He just sits there calling people goofy the whole time. Director X is by far one of the biggest clowns in media. It's not even close. And he exemplifies everything that's wrong with entertainment nowadays. But I think that's going to have to be a wrap for now. I had one more topic, but I think I will save that for the next stream or for another time. Because this has gone on for quite some time now. I don't feel like doing this all night. It's just kind of a place for me to vent, to talk about things I love. Comics, story writing, entertainment. To all those who tuned in, thank you for your time. I really do truly appreciate it. For those of you who will listen later, thank you. I appreciate it. You can find me here on my channel. You can find me on Twitter too. I should actually probably do something about that, shouldn't I? I'm going to plug my own social media. I should have it ready. Crap. Alrighty. Let us go here. There we go. Find me on Twitter there. I'm here on YouTube. Sometimes I post stuff to Rumble. I don't know how I feel about Rumble because Rumble's kind of dodgy with the way they report their views. Either way, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. Consider subscribing, checking out some of my other videos. And I think I'm going to have to start working on creating some ending sequences for this. Just get some royalty-free music, whip up something really quick to play right at the end of the stream to close this out, because these are getting really awkward. And I'm going to end it now. Later.